Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming in and to this session, a very important session, I believe. It's about financial aid at four-year universities, okay? We know at the two-year university, there's financial aid. For the four-year university, there's a different type of financial aid or additions that you need to know about financial aid. So I have an expert here who will talk to you about the process at the four-year university. But before we do that, I just want to thank you for, again, coming on. And a little housekeeping rules. You'll notice that you do not have any video nor audio sound. The only sound you'll be hearing is myself and my guest, who I'll bring on again shortly. The reason we don't have the video is so that there will be no distractions for anyone and that you can just focus on what's being told tonight. All right. And again, thank you so much for coming on. And my guest is Patricia Van Sassenbroek. She is from New Jersey City University. She's a financial aid advisor. And I will mute myself and my video, and I will hand it over to Ms. Van Sassenbroek. Thank you.
Hello, thank you, Ms. Webb. Thank you for having me. And good evening to everyone. Thank you for those of you who are able to join us. My name is Patricia Van Sassenbroek, as Ms. Webb said. I am a financial aid advisor at New Jersey City University. And tonight I'll just be going over the process of financial aid at the four-year university college, so you can see what the differences are with the type of aid that you will be receiving at the four-year level and at the two-year level right now. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to share my screen so you can see the PowerPoint presentation that I have set for you. Okay. All right, great. If anyone has any questions while I'm going on through the PowerPoint presentation, please just click in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. You can type in your question at the end of the presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have. If I do miss your question, or if you think about it later, please contact your financial aid office from the college, university of your choice that you choose to attend. So let's just begin. So how to finance your education. So at four-year institutions, you will receive an award letter that can be comprised of the following financial aid awards. It can be an institutional scholarship, federal and state grants, as well as federal direct student loans. So let's just have a quick overview. We will be talking about the types of financial aid that you will be receiving, how to apply for financial aid, and important dates. Right now, during the COVID coronavirus situation that we have right now, dates for filing the FAFSA as well as getting your documents to HESA have changed a bit. So we're going to make sure we review that as well. So financial aid for undergraduate students. Financial aid for undergraduate students can be comprised of scholarships, the federal Pell Grant, the Federal Supplemental Educational Opportunity Grant, also known as FSEOG, Federal Work Study, the Tuition Aid Grant, EOF, direct subsidized and direct unsubsidized loan, as well as a Parent Plus loan. So we will be able to hit all of those topics this evening. So let's talk on scholarships first. So scholarships are usually institutional, or they can be from a third party. And usually each university or college, the scholarships comes from the admissions office. It's not really the financial aid office. The reason why a lot of people contact the financial aid office when they receive a scholarship is because either they see it or they don't see it on their award letter. The scholarships are mostly given by the admissions office. So if you are inquiring about any scholarships, please visit or contact that admissions office regarding the types of institutional scholarships that you can receive. You should also be checking when you are receiving scholarships, whether it's from the university or from a third party. Check to make sure what those stipulations are of keeping the scholarship. What is the GPA, the grade point average that you need to keep? How many years can you keep that scholarship? What can that scholarship be used for? Is it only for the academic purposes, or can you use it for your housing and meal plan? So those are questions you will want to ask your school about or your third party scholarship committee about. The federal Pell Grant. So the federal Pell Grant is a grant that comes from you filing the FAFSA. And what will happen is once you file the FAFSA, you will receive a student aid report. Now, the student aid report does come to students via email and by mail. However, right now, I'm not sure how student aid reports or the SAR reports are being mailed out, but you will definitely receive one via email. On your SAR report, you will look at your expected family contribution, or your EFC. So this EFC number that you see actually translates into a dollar amount. So for the upcoming 2020 to 2021 academic year, the range is from a 0 EFC all the way to 5,711. So depending on what your EFC number is, that amount that you see is going to be awarded per semester according to your enrollment status. So for example, if you look on the screen, if you have a 0 EFC and you are a full-time student, you will get one amount. However, if you have a 0 EFC, but you're only enrolled 3/4 time, which is actually between 9 and 11.5 credits, you receive a smaller amount. So it's not just, the award amount that you receive is not just dependent on the EFC, but how many credits you are enrolled in. Those students who are going to be enrolled less than half-time, maybe you can't do full-time or half-time. Maybe you can only take a few credits depending on your work schedule. We can see based on your EFC what you can be eligible for. So again, that is from you filing your FAFSA. So this is federal aid. This is the federal Pell Grant. FSEOG grant. So the FSEOG grant is also a federal grant from you filing the FAFSA, and this is a first come, first served grant. So I know you've probably heard of that term before, or if you haven't, first come, first served means that students who file their FAFSA, as soon as it opens, they are usually the ones who will be reviewed for this type of grant. And the FSEOG grant is for students who have the greatest financial need. So each college or university has its own standards as to how much a student will receive in the FSEOG. And the federal limits would be between $100 and $4,000 per semester. So it's best to file your FAFSA as soon as possible so you can be reviewed for the FSEOG and all of those other first come, first served grants. Federal work study. Now I know many students at Essex County at the 2-year college level are familiar with federal work study. So federal work study works the same way in a 4-year institution as it does at Essex. So it's part-time employment for an undergraduate student, or if you are a grad or professional students, but you will all be undergraduate students. It's also first come, first serve. So again, if you are interested in work study, if this is something that you did at Essex County, if this is what you're doing right now in your current semester, and you are interested in continuing work study, please file your FAFSA as soon as you can, because once those work study funds run out, then you'll have to be put on a waiting list, or you'll have to see what else you can do, maybe off-campus work. So your work study coordinator, either they will be a financial aid coordinator, work study coordinator, your career coordinator. They will determine the amount awarded to you for the academic year. And they will take into account your class schedule, your academic progress, and your personal interests. So I know sometimes you may say, well, I like education, so I want to work in the daycare if your school has it. So that's definitely something to speak with your work study coordinators about. The tuition aid grant. This is also another grant that I know many students at the 2-year college level are familiar with. So the tuition aid grant is awarded to dependent students who have resided in New Jersey for at least 1 year. And for those dependent students, your parents also have to be residents of New Jersey for at least 1 year. So sometimes we do have students who come into the four-year institution and they say, well, I've been a resident of New Jersey for 1 year. Why did he tell me I was ineligible? And sometimes when we go back into the FAFSA, we see that, well, the student is a resident of New Jersey for 1 year, but the parent lives in Georgia. If you are a dependent student, your parent also needs to be a resident of the state of New Jersey for at least 1 year. Those who are independent students, you have to have resided in New Jersey for at least 1 year as well. And you also have to complete the other eligibility requirements set by HESA. Now you hear me say the words dependent and independent. What exactly does that mean? Well, a dependent student is one who is under the age of 24 years old. So I know that's kind of, it might be a little confusing to hear. In the federal government, on one hand, you hear, well, I am 18 years old. Aren't I independent? Yes, but when it comes to financial aid and higher education, you are still considered a dependent if you are under 24 years old. You will be considered independent once you reach 24 years old, or if you are married, or if you have children, if you are a ward of the court or homeless, or if you are a veteran. So there are many students who come to the four-year university and they say, well, I'm 18, I'm independent, or I'm under 24, but I live by myself. No, the Department of Education says that your parents are required to provide financial information if you are under the age of 24 years old, or if you don't meet the other set of requirements. And let's not forget the New Jersey Dreamers. So dependent New Jersey Dreamers and independent New Jersey Dreamers who also meet the eligibility requirements can be awarded the tuition aid grant as well. EOF. EOF is another grant that students at the community college level also are participants of. So EOF provides financial assistance and support services for those from socioeconomic and educationally disadvantaged backgrounds. Now, with EOF, you must speak with the EOF department at the college or university. We tend to partner with EOF because you see your EOF grant on your award letter. However, it is not up to financial aid to tell you what the actual guidelines are. You will definitely contact the EOF department at your university, and they will be in contact with financial aid to make sure you are providing all of the necessary documents in order for you to be reviewed for the EOF, the grant. Federal direct loans. Now, federal direct loans, I know, is something that Essex County College does not participate in. There are other community colleges that do, but this is something that is completely new to you. So I want to make sure that we go over how the federal direct loan system works and what it is that makes you eligible for it, and what are the stipulations and conditions about receiving it. So your financial aid office may give you a subsidized or unsubsidized loan, and you must be enrolled at least half-time. So if you are one of those students who can't be half-time, maybe you have a hard or stressful work schedule, you would not be eligible for the federal direct loan. However, remember, dependent on your EFC, you still might be eligible for the Pell Grant. So federal direct loans, if you're not enrolled at least half-time, you wouldn't be eligible. But if you are enrolled at least half-time and definitely full-time, then this does apply to you. So when you are given the federal direct subsidized or unsubsidized loan, or a combination of both, you do have the option of canceling the loan, reducing the amount, or accepting the full amount. So it's not, we don't want you to feel like you're obligated to borrow the loan, because a loan is a debt. Once you accept the loan and you go through the loan requirements, that is a debt that you have just incurred in a part of your history, your loan history, your borrowing history. So you want to make sure that you know your options when borrowing a loan. Now, your loans do need to be repaid, and they're going to be repaid with interest. Now, the current interest rate on a federal direct subsidized and unsubsidized loan is 4.53%. And that interest rate changes each year. So for students right now who are at the four-year institutions and are receiving a subsidized or unsubsidized loan, this loan has a 4.53% interest rate. Now, next year for the 2020-2021 academic year, that interest rate for that subsidized and unsubsidized loan will be different. So each year you can have a different interest rate for a subsidized and unsubsidized loan. So you also want to remember when borrowing a loan, you may have different interest rates at different years. Now, if you are going to accept either the full amount of the loan or reduce it to a partial amount of the loan, you have to complete your loan requirements. And those loan requirements, if you see on your screen, are the master promissory note and the entrance counseling. Sometimes what happens is students will do one of the requirements for the loans and not the other, and the loan will never disperse. Your loan, in order for your loan to successfully disperse, you need to complete both loan requirements. So that is the master promissory note and your entrance counseling. Now let's talk about what the different types of loans are. Let's get more in depth. So a subsidized loan are for students who have exceptional need. And for the students who have exceptional need, the government does you a favor by paying for that interest while you're in school. So currently, the students who are receiving subsidized loans at the four-year level, the government is paying that 4.53% interest rate while they're in school at least half time. Now, for the unsubsidized loans, that is available for all eligible students. So it's not based off of need. However, the only thing is the government does not pay the interest, the 4.53%. So once you do accept your loan and you, I'm sorry, we have some questions in the chat. What if I do not know where my parents are and I live with an aunt or uncle? Do I still need to find that parent? Can I accept one loan over the other? Which is the best to borrow? Okay, great. We'll definitely go over that at the end. Thank you. I'm sorry, let me go back. So the unsubsidized loan, again, the government will not pay that interest. So interest will accrue on that loan every day until it's paid back in full. And direct plus loans. So direct plus loans are available for dependent students. So remember, those are the students who are under the age of 24, don't have children, aren't married, that other criteria. It's for parents of those dependent students who, let's say the subsidized and unsubsidized loan aren't enough. Your parent can take out a loan on behalf of you as long as you're enrolled at least half time. So if you are in need of extra loans, your parent can apply for a Parent Plus loan. The only thing with a Parent Plus loan is it requires a credit check. So you want to make sure that you discuss with your family that a credit check is required in order for you to be considered for this loan. Now, if the credit check is approved, then your parent is able to borrow up to the amount of the remainder of your cost of attendance. However, if your parent is denied, then you, the student, will receive an additional $4,000 for the academic year, which is $2,000 for the fall and $2,000 for the spring, but you will receive it as an unsubsidized loan. And remember, the unsubsidized loan is the loan that the government doesn't pay the interest on. So if you want to live on campus and you're in need of extra funds and you say, well, mom and dad, can you look into this Parent Plus loan? If they're denied, then that loan it goes back in your name. Your parents will not be able to borrow that. So how are you going to apply? I know a lot of people heard of the FAFSA, but what actually is the FAFSA? So the FAFSA is the free application for federal student aid. And in order to file the FAFSA, you need to meet all of the eligibility requirements. So you need to be a citizen or an eligible non-US citizen. So if you have a green card, your alien registration number, then that is fine. You have to have a valid social security number. This is the social security number that the Social Security Administration gives you when you do become a citizen. This is not the Social Security number that you see if you have a Social Security card, but it says for work authorization only. So we cannot accept Social Security cards that say for work authorization only. This is due to you being a citizen or an eligible non-citizen. You must have graduated from high school or have a GED certificate or a homeschool, complete a homeschool program. You have to be enrolled in at least a proper program in order for you to receive federal student aid, maintaining satisfactory academic progress, not owing the federal or federal government or the state any money, and not having a conviction or sale of drugs. So these are just the requirements that you should be able to go through before determining if you need to or if you can file the FAFSA or not. Oh, and one other thing, males. Males have to register for the Selective Service. So as soon as you turn 18, you must register for the Selective Service, which is the draft. If there are any males who entered the US after the age of 26, you are actually exempt from enrolling in the Selective Service. And in order for us to determine that, you will need to get a letter from Selective Service saying that you are ineligible due to you not meeting the age requirements. And they give that to students on a regular basis. So that is something you shouldn't have trouble obtaining from the government. So the FAFSA application. So you're going to file your FAFSA. If you've never filed a FAFSA before, you are first going to create an FSA ID and password. And this will be done on fsaid.gov. Once you have your FSA ID and password, you will need to complete the FAFSA application. Now, for those of you who are dependent students, you are going to need to create a FAFSA username and password for at least one of your parents, because since you're dependent and you're using parental information, one of your parents' signatures have to be on the FAFSA. So for dependent students, you will have a student signature and a parent signature. For independent students, you only need one signature, which is your own. Now, the great thing is you can now complete your FAFSA on your cell phone. We are so technologically advanced during this time. And, you know, right now with students who are home who might not have access to computers or laptops at the moment, you can always file your FAFSA on the mobile web. So that will be it's called My Student Aid mobile app. You can find that in your app store, and you can file the FAFSA right from the tip of your fingers. Once you submit your FAFSA, you are going to receive a student aid report. That same student aid report is what is going to show your EFC for the Pell Grant, which is what I stated earlier before in the presentation. Once you receive your student aid report and your university or college receives your FAFSA, they will then send you your award package or your financial aid award letter. And that's when you will review and accept the financial aid awards that you see. And remember, if you are going to accept your loans, either the full amount or a reduced amount, you must complete your master promissory note and entrance counseling. And that will also be done on studentaid.gov. Now, for New Jersey Dreamers. So if you are not a citizen or an eligible non-citizen, you can try to apply for the alternative application that HESA has. So what will happen is you need to make sure you meet all of these criteria. So let's go over it. So you would need to complete the application if you're not a US citizen. If you attended a New Jersey high school for at least 3 years, you graduated from a New Jersey high school or received the equivalent of a diploma. Males, you have to register for the Selective Service if you're at least 18 years old as well. And if you are able to file an affidavit stating that you have filed an application to legalize your immigration status, or you will file that application. So that application is called the New Jersey Alternative Financial Aid Application. That will be found on HESA.org. And you will create an account, you will fill out the application, and you will hear back via email or through your NJFAMS account if you are eligible for the tuition aid grant as a New Jersey Dreamer. So let's go over some important dates. Remember I said that due to the novel coronavirus, some dates have been shifted around when filing the FAFSA. So the 2020-2021 FAFSA actually opened up on October 1st. That is actually October 1st of 2019, not 2020. So every October 1st is when the next year's FAFSA opens up. Now, the deadline to file your FAFSA for the 2020-2021 academic year is actually June 30th. So you have, it's June 30th of 2021. So I have to make sure I get that date fixed as well. So you have a full year to get your FAFSA completed for the upcoming academic year. However, you don't want to wait so late, because the earlier you do your FAFSA, the earlier you see the financial aid awards that you will be receiving. And the earlier that you file, again, if you want to be considered for those first come, first served grants, this is the perfect time to do it. So right now, if you have filed your FAFSA, great, you are right on point. If you haven't filed your FAFSA, please consider doing that now. Schools are now reviewing financial aid packages. They're sending out financial aid packages for students in the March-April time. So you will be right in the best time to do it as well. And for those of you who are still considering where you want to apply to, you can apply up to 10 schools on your FAFSA. So you can add 10 schools on your FAFSA, even if you don't know where you want to attend right now, 10 schools, and then you can make your decision after. HESA important dates. So for those these are for renewal students only. A renewal student is a student who, if you are right now at Essex County College, if you are receiving the tuition aid grant, you are considered a renewal student. You are just renewing the FAFSA to see if you are eligible again. So if you are not a renewal student, you can just plug your ears right now. So for those renewal students, you have up until June 1st of 2020 to submit your FAFSA application. The deadline was April 15th, but they extended that due to the situation that's going on. So you actually have until June 1st. You need to complete all of your tasks on NJFAMS. So any missing documents, you need to submit to NJFAMS by November 1st of 2020. And you must upload your documents via the NJFAMS portal. Now, for new students, you must submit your FAFSA or the alternative application for the New Jersey Dreamers by September 15th of 2020. You need to complete all of your tasks again by November 1st. So everyone has the same November 1st deadline to provide all missing documentation. And you must also upload your documents via the New Jersey FAMS portal. All right, and that is the end of the presentation. This is recorded for you, so it will be shared. Ms. Webb, I know you will be able to share that, but thank you.